It's a little concerning that you walk around every single day with a complete set of bones inside of you and have absolutely no idea how they work. How did you make it this far in life without knowing this? Today, I'll explain how bones break and heal to you like you're 5 years old. And by the end of this, you'll feel so confident about your internal scaffolding that you might just start giving unsolicited advice to people in the emergency room. Now, let's start with the most important, mind-blowing fact that most adults seem to forget. Your bones are not just dry, chalky sticks rattling around inside your skin like a sad Halloween decoration. They are alive. Seriously, they're living, breathing, and constantly changing parts of you, filled with cells, blood vessels, and nerves. Just think of a tree for a second. A living branch on a tree can bend and sway, and if it gets a small cut, it can heal itself over time. Now, think of a dead, dried-up stick that you find on the ground. If you try to bend that, it just snaps into a million sad, splintery pieces. Your bones are like that living branch. They have a little bit of give, a little bit of flexibility, but most importantly, they have a built-in repair service. This is the fundamental difference between the skeleton in your body and the plastic one in a science classroom. One can fix itself, and the other just gets dusty and loses a finger bone behind the filing cabinet. So, what happens when you do something spectacular like trying to skateboard down a flight of stairs or simply tripping over with the grace of a newborn giraffe? Well, you might break a bone. The fancy word for a break is a fracture, but it really all means the same thing. Your bone, which was once one happy continuous piece, is now in 2 or more pieces. It's had a very bad day. Now, a fracture can be a tiny little crack, like a hairline fracture you might get from running too much, or it can be a full-on snap, where the bone is completely separated. For our purposes, it doesn't really matter how fancy the break is. The break is simply a break. The bone is broken, and your body immediately sounds the alarm. Now, the moment a bone breaks, your body doesn't just sit there and cry about it. It panics, but in a very organized and efficient way. The very first thing that happens is what I like to call the ouchy and swelling phase. This is officially known as the inflammation stage. The area around the break immediately gets angry. It swells up, turns red, and hurts a whole lot. Now, this isn't your body being dramatic, this is a full-scale emergency response. Think of it like a 5-alarm fire. The break is the fire, and your body is sending every single emergency vehicle it has to the scene. Blood vessels that were torn when the bone broke start bleeding into the area. Now, this might sound bad, but it's actually the first step in the healing plan. All that blood pools around the broken ends of the bone and form a big, thick blood clot. And this clot has a fancy name. A fracture hematoma. But let's just call it what it is, an internal scab. It's a healing scab on the inside, and this internal scab is incredibly important. First, it plugs up the broken blood vessels so you stop bleeding, and second, it forms a sort of protective gooey cushion around that sharp broken bone end. And third, and most importantly, the clot is like a giant flashing neon sign that screams, "Hey, help needed over here!" It sends out chemical signals that call all the special healing cells to the site of the injury. It's the director of the whole operation, pointing and telling everyone where to go. So, now you have an internal scab, a lot of swelling, and a very unhappy piece of bone. The emergency is contained, so what's next? Now the construction crew shows up. This next phase is all about building a temporary fix, a soft bridge to get things started. This is called the soft callus stage. Over the next few days and weeks, special cells called fibroblasts and chondroblasts arrive at the construction site. They're the body's goo makers. They start spinning a web of soft, flexible tissue called collagen all across the gap between the broken bone ends. It's like they're building a scaffold made out of rubbery, gummy material. It's not strong, at least not yet, but it's a start. They're essentially creating a blueprint for the new bone. And this rubbery bridge, or soft callus, does a pretty okay job of holding the bone pieces together so they don't wiggle around too much. It's like using a whole lot of chewed up bubblegum to stick 2 broken pieces of plastic toy back together. It's messy, it's not permanent, but it does provide some stability. And this is why you need a cast. The cast is the external helper, keeping everything perfectly still so your internal bubblegum bridge can form without being disturbed. If you move it around too much, the bridge could fall apart and the construction crew could have to start it all over again. And they would be very grumpy about it. After a few weeks of this soft, wobbly bridge being in place, your body decides that it's time to get serious. The bubblegum isn't going to cut it long term. I mean, we need concrete in this thing. And this brings us to the hard callus stage. A new set of specialized construction workers called osteoblasts arrive on the scene. The prefix osteo means bone, and these cells are like the bone builders. They're the cement mixers of your body, and their job is to take the rubbery, soft callus scaffold and start covering it in hard new bone. They crawl all over the gummy bridge and deposit minerals, mainly calcium and phosphate, turning that soft, flexible structure into a hard, bony one. They work tirelessly, layer by layer, until the entire gap is filled with new woven bone tissue. Now, this new structure is called the hard callus, and your body, in its infinite wisdom, tends to overdo it a little bit. It doesn't just build a bridge that's the exact same size of the original bone, it builds a big, lumpy, oversized patch. The hard callus forms a thick, bony knot around the fracture site. It looks like a clumsy repair job. I mean, it's like you broke a coffee mug and fixed it with a giant, ugly glob of superglue. It's really not too pretty, but it is very strong. In fact, for a while, this lumpy section of the bone is even stronger than the original bone was. Your body's motto is better safe than sorry, so it over-engineers the repair to make absolutely sure it won't break in the same place again. And this is the lump you can sometimes feel in your skin over a healing bone. It's your body's proof of a job well done, even if it's not too aesthetically pleasing. Now at this point, usually after 6 to 12 weeks, the cast can often come off. I mean, the bone is stable enough to handle gentle everyday movements again. The pieces are fused, the gap is gone, and the major construction project is complete. But wait, the story isn't over just yet. Your body is a bit of a perfectionist. It looks at this big, ugly lump of bone and thinks, we can do better. It doesn't like the sloppy work, so the final stage of healing begins, and it's the longest one of all. This is the remodeling phase, and it can take months or even years to complete. Now, a final team of cells arrive, and these are the osteoclasts, the bone demolishers and sculptors. Think of them as the cleanup crew, the artists who come in after the construction is done to make everything look beautiful again. Their job is to slowly and carefully break down and absorb all the extra unnecessary bone from that lumpy hard callus. They're like tiny little chisels, smoothing out the rough edges and reshaping the bone. As the osteoclasts are busy chipping away at the excess bone, the osteoblasts, our friendly bone builders, are still hard at work. They follow behind the cleanup crew and lay down new, more organized and stronger bone called lamellar bone. The new bone is structured in a much better way, making it compact and strong, just like the original unbroken bone. This process is a delicate dance between the bone demolishing osteoclasts and the bone building osteoblasts. One team removes the lumpy patch while the other team reinforces the final structure. Over a very long time, they work together to return the bone to its original shape and strength. In many cases, often years down the line, an X-ray might not even be able to tell where the break even was. Your body's internal construction and cleanup crew is just that good. They leave the site cleaner than they found it. So, let's review this whole magical mess. You do something silly and your bone goes snap. This is the fracture. Your body immediately hits the panic button, causing swelling and forming an internal scab made of blood. That scab calls in the first construction team, the goo makers, who build a soft, gummy bridge called the soft callus. Then, the heavy-duty construction team arrives, the cement mixers, who cover the gummy bridge with hard minerals to create a strong, lumpy bone patch called a hard callus. And finally, after the main job is done, the cleanup crew and the artists come in for the remodeling phase, slowly chiseling away the lumpy parts and reshaping the bone until it looks good as new. It's a multi-stage process involving an emergency response, a soft build, a hard build, and a final patient cleanup. And all the while this is happening, you're just living your life, complaining about your cast being itchy and trying to figure out how to scratch underneath it with a ruler. Meanwhile, inside your body, this incredible microscopic construction project is happening 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Your cells are working tirelessly without a lunch break to put you back together. And all they really ask in return is that you hold still and maybe eat some foods with calcium, which is like giving them the bricks and mortar they need to do their job properly. Is that really too much to ask? Probably, but they do it anyway. They're your body's construction crew, and they're very, very good at what they do. And now, you understand exactly what they're up to. See? You totally get it now. I mean, you're practically an expert on the amazing self-repairing sticks that hold you upright. Alright, go on and try to test this process out for yourself. And I'll see you next time.